Be sure to check out the description of this video for any new or updated information before starting. I'll quickly be covering the data types which you can send over the network. You can send almost all of the standard C# data types under the system namespace, such as bool, byte, sbyte, char, decimal, and so on. Everything in this list essentially. Note that even though object is part of the system namespace, you cannot send object over the network. Next, you have custom types, which are part of Unity and Mirror. These include vector2, vector3, vector4, and several more. You can even send GUIDs, network identities, transforms, and game objects. Keep in mind though that if you send a transform or a game object, it must have a network identity attached to it. And also that whenever you try to send a transform or game object, get component network identity is called. So if you have access to the network identity directly or a reference to it, it's better to just pass that in instead of the transform or game object. You can also pass in iMessage base as long as it uses the previously talked about data types or any types you've made custom serializations for. There are a few special rules which apply to some of these data types. For example, the majority of them you can use with a syncVar. However, you cannot use an array in a syncVar, nor is there a syncArray, but you can send arrays through commands, client RPCs, and messages. You, however, cannot send lists through commands, RPCs, and so on, but there is a sync list option. Very quickly, I'm going to demonstrate what happens if you try to use a type that is not supported. I just have a simple script which on client start, it will try to send a list of integers. I saved my script and now I'm going to go back to Unity. Notice that it gave me compilation errors. Weaver is telling me that it cannot generate a writer for generic type system collections generics list. It goes further to say that if you want to use a type which does not have a writer for, then you must make a custom writer. One quirky thing to be aware of is I'm going to clear all this out. And on my network manager, I have a prefab, which has the script I just showed you. I'm going to hit play, and even though I got those errors saying it wouldn't serialize, I'm going to connect as a LAN host. And you can see that I'm actually getting the values I passed through as a list. Don't be fooled by this though. Even though the values are coming through in the editor, if you try to make a build, the build will fail. If you're curious where I got these types from, it wasn't through trial and error. There's actually a class where you can view all of these types yourself, and that is the networkwriter.cs file. This file actually consists of a couple classes, but in it, you can see all the types that are supported. So you have write color 32, etc., and you can see the values that it takes in. This also gives us a hint as to how to write custom serializers.